Always fun, crazy. It's painful, but it's wonderful. What is the name?
It's Royce Unchained.
Okay, Patrick, there's a lot to sift through here. We could probably sift through more Vikings carnage, but the big story that came out yesterday in the Twins and baseball world, Jeff Passan hinted very strongly that Byron Buxton may be willing to waive that no. He said Buxton is willing to waive his no trade clause, and not just for Atlanta, that he may be interested in contending or jumping off of this debt-ridden ship.
And that was being reported around here a couple days earlier, right? That was going on, or at least speculation that was going on. I've been having some thoughts on this. He had a fantastic year. He's been. We always talk about how loyal he's been to the Twins. The Twins have been very loyal to him too, because he's been hurt all the time, and they've tried to figure out many solutions. I mean, here's my bottom line on it. They are in so much trouble with fandom right now. What difference does it make? If you can get, you got to get a bounty for him though. You can't get Alan Rodon, and can't get another left-handed hitting outfielder who's your seventh. You have to get
the Alan Rodon disrespect here is palpable.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't be getting these fringe guys that you hope. You have to get three players, and that are and might be making some money because they've been around 2-3 years. And if you could make a good trade for him, then I'm not opposed to it because it'd be fine for him, and it's not going to hurt your PR that much. And let's face it, considering the Twins got real lucky with him last year playing as much as he did, right? There's can you really imagine 2 more years like that where he only misses 20 games and plays like a monster? I don't know, but I think the bottom line is right now anything they do isn't going to get them out of the quagmire they're in with the public. So if you're going to trade him, this is probably people are saying it's the worst time to trade him. It's the best time to trade him because people aren't invested in you in a positive way anyway. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because even though, the impending lockout that's staring us down the barrel 1 year from now, I mean, Buxton, even if 100-game Byron Buxton, $15 million a year, it's nothing. I mean, if you get the 5-WAR season and the season he had last year, I mean, he's worth twice that, and just in terms of dollars per player. So I don't even think that, because I think the issue with Pablo, for example, making $22 million, which for a frontline starter is a good deal. But other teams are looking at that lockout saying, well, we're going to lose a season, and then we're still on the hook to paying him for $44 million over 2 years. So it's a very interesting wicket that I think other teams are trying to balance too with the lockout that's going to be coming at us here pretty quick.
Yeah, and as I'm saying, 15. It's not money. This is not. Even these guys aren't saying, "Boy, we got to get rid of Byron Buxton's $15 million." It would be a baseball trade, I would think, and maybe he's saying, I kind of like to be home. They might have a chance to win. Do me a favor and trade me, and then they'll probably do it. But it will be another chance for the fandom, which is really in a bad mood now because the Vikings stink, are really going to go after the Polands now, man. They're really going to be mad at the Polands now because the Vikings stink, and they don't want to be mad at the Wilfs, so they want to be mad at the Vikings. So, I mean, at the Polands. So I think it's a good time to trade him if he wants to get traded, and you can get something. You can't just take the same guys you were taking in the trades last year.
Yeah, I the only thing I'll disagree with is I actually think that the $15 million is meaningful to them to get rid of just based on their debt. We can split that hair, but What's kind of crazy is I'm just looking at their guaranteed salaries the Twins owed this season, and then some of the arbitration estimates for like the Jeffers and Joe Ryan. So Pablo, there's a pretty good chance now, based on reports, that they trade both Pablo Lopez and Byron Buxton. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Like there's a
Well,
20% chance or more that both those guys are gone.
do you
Is
have a
that
big
fair?
problem trading Pablo if
I
you get
don't.
something? I don't.
But what I am saying is it's and I don't really even have a big problem with what I'm about to say, but they would then be shedding $37 million from this upcoming season's payroll, which would get it down to $40 million, including the arbitration estimates.
Good God.
So, who was the last team to do this? The Tigers? That they just went down to nothing?
The
They went down
Astros definitely did it.
Astros did
When
it
they
way
were,
back. Way back.
Like they were at like a $12 million
Yeah.
payroll or
Yeah,
something
right,
insane, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the Twins now I got to worry about what after the lockout. There's going to be a minimum. When you come back, if
There'll
you
be a
got
floor.
a cap, there's going to be a floor.
Yep. There's gonna be
So
a floor.
they got to keep some. They got to be. The Twins will be saying, "Man, we got a problem. We got to get up to the floor." With if they get rid of all these guys. So I don't know what it is going to be. I go back to Met Stadium when early in the season you would have 2,800 in the outdoor stadium if you were lucky sometimes, and then in September where they never played a night game, there were 2,000 there. So you're going to be in that beautiful new ballpark. You're going to have everything. Well, it's not new anymore, but you're going to have everything blocked out upstairs, and it's still going to be empty. There's still going to be a foul ball hit out there, and nobody will be around to chase it. It's going to be awful. And I see that I think Nick Nelson is counting the days since they announced their investors, and that they haven't. Well, who cares? I don't care if they have investors or not. I don't care if that they're just babbling. But I'll say one thing: they went into hiding. They're in the same hiding that the Wilf family is now. The Wilfs have the Wilfs uttered a peep since
Well,
this
did you
whole
hear?
collapse started.
I don't know if you saw this. It's very rare that the play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Vikings
Yes.
kind of steps out of line.
Yeah.
And he went on his radio show earlier this week and he kind of said like, "Hey, forgive me for putting this out there, but it's the first time in a long time that he walked the sidelines for the entire pregame and did not see any member of the Wilf family in
Yes.
Seattle." And he kind of speculated, well, it was a holiday weekend and it's expensive to fire up that jet from New Jersey to Seattle, and so maybe they stayed home. But
I actually mentioned that to Judd yesterday that I had heard that because I will say the only time I faithfully listened to Paul Allen is after the Vikings bleeped the bed big time. I like to hear him suffer. But it was interesting. I don't know, what does he write for? Does he write for the radio website, or does he write for the
I don't
Vikings website? He
I don't
wrote
know.
or does he write? Maybe it was his own blog. Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what he wrote for, but he wrote something that he thought was clever, and somebody killed it. He said, either the
Oh.
Vikings. He said somebody killed it, either the Vikings or the station. I don't know which, but
Wow.
whatever he wrote, this essay he wrote.
So this might have been is this potentially it's if we have a good hacker, we could hack into the kfxn.com web dashboard and find it. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, it got killed by somebody. That was more of his bet when he was talking to whoever this guy is. He was talking to him and was saying how it got killed, and he wrote it on the plane flying back to Minnesota in an hour and a half, and he was very proud of it. But apparently, I don't know. That station is probably paranoid enough about having the Vikings that they.
It's always tough when there's the Vikings don't nosedive that. It's like about once every 8 years they give you a really good nosedive, and there was one 4 years ago, I guess, when they fired everyone. So
yeah, but
probably do.
Yeah, Phil, this is. I think I'm gonna write something on this on Sunday. This is the 25 years since 41 Donut. We
Yeah.
kind of celebrating the anniversary here, and there
Are we
hasn't
bringing?
been
Are we
much.
going to bring back the any remaining players to celebrate at
Yeah,
U.S. Bank
we
Stadium?
should have. We should have. We should have Randy bring back the guys that he couldn't get on the sidelines and let them wave to the crowd. How about that? Whoever those guys were that convinced Randy to pout the whole game and not do anything because he couldn't have his buddies on the sideline. So
Yeah. Bring it back.
he wasn't a terribly mature individual back then. But anyway,
No.
yes.
But it is, yeah,
Uh,
it is a good time to reflect on Vikings carnage, I guess, with that 25-year
4-9,
time.
4-9 in the playoffs since then. They haven't won 2 games in a playoff season since Bernsey, right? And the run and when they
In
upset
'87.
the Saints and then upset the 49ers, right?
Yeah,
And
and
last time they won two, right?
they haven't been to the playoffs back-to-back years since 2008, 2009.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
It's
So
crazy.
who quarterbacked them there? Teddy and 8, was that 8? Who was 8? Teddy.
Tavares and Gus
Gus.
Frerotte in
Okay,
2008, and
okay,
then
okay.
Brett
Oh,
Favre
Teddy was
09,
later. What am I thinking?
15
Yeah,
was Teddy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. But 8 was they squeezed in, and was that they went out to Denver? Is that the team that went out to Denver at the end of the year and got beat, or was that was 07? And
that
then
was
That was 7.
07. Yeah, and
and
then
then
so 08 they
08.
started 0-2 in 08 with T-Jack, and then they benched
Okay.
T-Jack for
Oh,
Farrat.
that's right. Yeah, that's
Farrat
right.
played.
Yes.
I think they went 8-3 under Farrat and brought T-Jack back at the end of the season. But they won 10 games and they hosted a home playoff game against the Eagles and got
Mm-hmm.
beat. T-Jack threw a pick
Mm-hmm.
6,
Oh
and
yeah, right.
the Eagles.
To Samuel, whose son's in the
Yeah.
NFL now, right? Was
Yep.
Asante Samuel
Senior.
was the guy. He turned and threw to him like he was the intended receiver, man, open in the flat, and whoom, and that was.
And that I was in the game. I had face paint on. 15-year-old Declan was in the nosebleeds for that game as a fan. And I forget the offensive lineman, I believe, that lifted T-Jack up and threw him into oblivion when T-Jack tried to, I think, tackle Asante on that pick 6. I remember him being forklifted off the ground and just thrown like a rag doll, Andre the Giant style.
Eagles blocker.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's insane. But yes, that was
Yeah,
also a rough one.
that was a perfect pass to the flats to the wrong team. That was something. Yeah, there hasn't. They've certainly they got their new stadium and everything's glorious and they pack them in, but they haven't taken us on many runs. And of course the stupidest moment of my career. Well, no, that's not the stupidest. There's been plenty of those, but was after they won the miracle. I knew they were going to go down and kick the hell out of the Eagles, and they come down and get ahead 7-0, and then give up the next 34. Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Well,
that
I
it?
mean, since you brought that up, it's and I'm guilty of this, kind of crowning Kevin O'Connell after a 13-14 win season, but now here he is. Mike Zimmer never had a season like this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I
Oh
mean,
no.
Mike Zimmer never had a low like this, and Mike Zimmer's high was 13 wins in NFC Championship game.
You know what makes me sad though? The biggest sadness to me is Chris Thomason went to Denver. That that as sensitive as they are out there now, and Thomason basically drove Zim to Denver. I mean, drove Zim crazy, drove him into retirement. Can you imagine Thomason throwing those Tom bombs at O'Connell when he's
Oh
up
my
there
gosh.
babbling like he was this week? It
Yeah,
would be fantastic.
Kevin definitely there's a sort of persona there, and when things are going
Mhm.
well, he's affable, but he's been chapped behind the
I didn't
scenes.
watch him in action Tuesday, but I listened to it, and he sounded like a guy who's lost some friends in a plane crash or something. It was unbelievable how down he was and babbling and kind of babbling around each play that was screwed up, and he was a defeated man. I'll tell you that. And
Yeah.
And he was so defeated that Kwesi's going to get fired. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Yeah,
100%.
as you sift through Vikings carnage here, I would be surprised if nothing happens. Like
No,
something like. But what do you think the something is likely to be in
I
terms
think
of
it's Kwesi.
accountability?
I think it's Kwesi getting fired, and they're going to
Yeah.
try to blame mediocre drafts and other things, even though this is O'Connell's quarterback. First, second, third rounders. That that coach, I've had the impression ever since they got out there, had more influence than Kwesi, didn't you?
Well, and even I mean, Alec Lewis from the Athletic had a report that, not to completely exonerate Kwesi, but that it's there's a lot of input from the coaching staff, Flores
Yeah.
and Kevin O'Connell, when it comes to draft and personnel. Because Kwesi's
Oh
not
yeah.
he's not a traditional football guy, so he's gathering
No.
information from other people and making decisions.
Well,
And
well. Plus, you look at what are they when they call a staff together for a draft meeting. There got to be 30 of these guys, and I mean, they got unbelievable numbers of. They aren't. I think they're a lot like. I don't know if they go out and watch players as much as they used to. I think they're probably a lot like the Twins, and it's tape, 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 video, research, talking to coaches and stuff. But the staffs are enormous. It's not like Kwesi storms in a room and says, "We're drafting Lewis Steen instead of Kyle Hamilton." He's not. It's not him. He's probably making the final. Who makes that decision? I don't know.
I mean, I think ultimately it is Kwesi in terms of the contractual power to make those picks. But then you have Ryan Grigson in the room, and if you
Yeah.
look at his track record drafting with Indianapolis and being the top football man in that front office as Kwesi's, whatever his title is, kind of an assistant
Yeah.
GM role or director of whatever he is. You can count of the 50 draft picks or so in Ryan Grigson's overseeing of Colts and Vikings drafts. There's like maybe 5 players who've been multi-year starters at their positions at a high level, not counting Andrew Luck, who was the gift wrapped
Yeah. Yeah.
number 1 pick.
So, well, maybe Ryan goes with him then. But
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
guess Kwesi's going to take the fall because they're the Wilfs are. If the Wilfs indeed are so despondent they aren't going to games, that's not good. So,
Yeah, it's not good when your
and
owners are apathetic.
no, I had a question. How no Williamson playing last night for the lowly, rotten Pelicans, and our guys that end up giving up 130. What's going on here? What do we got here with these Wolfies? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not.
it wasn't great. It wasn't great. I will say Anthony Edwards has at least shown some ability to just take over, just
Oh
hit the
yeah,
40-point
he's getting
button now, and
40 points. Yeah, I mean he's fine, but I don't know what the. They don't have any depth. That's their problem to me. They don't have any depth. I said, I guess the other day, but there's seven, eight, and nine guys. None of them could shoot. Dillingham's being phased now. They're mad. They're down at him. Didn't they basically say that Edwards is going to be their Luca and have the ball all the time now, or
yeah,
something like that? So,
yeah. You
so
haven't,
that means
Terrence Shannon Jr. You haven't gotten Jalen Clark is still a nice little bolt of
yeah, he is,
defense,
but
and
he's a defensive player, and Shannon can get the basket. I don't have any problem with him, but none of them are shooters. And you see what Nah is doing for Atlanta; they are missing him, man. He's made last 2 games. He's made 12 threes. So yeah,
yeah, he's kind of in the absence of Trae Young. He's
yes.
become this lead guard, this high volume player.
Once in a while, you see that team that has to play with a complete moron ball hog, shoot it up, not worry about a teammate guy get hurt, and they play good. That's what's happening in Atlanta. They're so happy they don't have to play with Trey. They're
Yeah,
playing great, because Trey's an idiot. There's no doubt about it. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think it was heartbreaking that Zion got hurt again. Hurt. Because I was shocked. I, for one, was shocked that
I know
occurred.
it's such a rare occurrence that
He's now
he's in street clothes.
he's now at a 40% rate of games played since he was the number 1 overall draft choice.
It's
Man,
incredible. Yeah,
it is.
it's incredible. What's kind of bad luck. You're the Pelicans. You don't really have a whole lot going in your franchise history,
Oh
and you
no,
stumble into this generational
Well,
talent,
and the
and
town's got probably the least, because since the hurricane, it's probably got the least money of any town in the league by far. There aren't rich people wandering all over New Orleans, and paying for high price seats. So half the time you look at the crowd, there's 6,000 people there, and then this guy. I'm surprised they stay there, but maybe they
yeah.
do have an owner who's loyal to New Orleans or something.
Hey Pat, one last thing for you here. I'm a little nervous that our Gopher basketball team
Ooh.
was the last time we saw them was down by 25 points at halftime to Santa Clara, and now tonight they've got undefeated Indiana and then the number one team in the country next week, Purdue at Purdue here in their next two games. I'm a little nervous
And
about the Gophers.
I watched them. I've said this. I watched them early in the year and said they are, if any, that they aren't very good. But if anybody gets hurt, they're dead, because they had no depth at all. And now they've lost three guys, and Willis, the lead guard, and then the big guy Bahola's been out, and somebody else got hurt too. So they have. I mean, they're. This is. This is as this got a chance to be as bad as Ben's original team, the first
Yeah.
one, which somehow they had a lot of slunky guys on that team that stayed healthy, and they won 4 or 5 Big Ten games. But you're going to look at this period of Big Ten basketball for the Gophers. What are they? They won 4, they won 6, they won 4, they won 2, and now this looks like this could be 2. I mean, this is some incredibly. I was telling Chip this yesterday, though. This will be a little different. The first game that Bill Musselman ever coached in the Big Ten was against Indiana and Bobby Knight, and the crowd was a little bigger that night than it'll be tonight. They had, or be this weekend. They had 19,000 that night, tonight, at night, and Jim Brewer blocked a shot by Steve Downing at the buzzer, and Bobby chased the referees off the elevated floor down the steps to the locker room. He chased the two. I don't think we'll see that kind of excitement and tension and
No.
craziness in the arena that we did. And I know that I think the Star Tribune put the crowd in the headline. 19,000 watched Gophers. And the fire marshal called up Kenny Buell, the ticket guy, and said, "Don't you ever announce that again, else we're going to stop letting that many people in there." And of course, then they remodeled. Guys, in the old arena, in the old Williams, if there'd been a fire, everybody dies. There
Yeah.
were no, it was all wood, and there were no aisles whatsoever. They're like, if you wanted to get out from upstairs, you only had one choice: jump. If it was burning,
It would have been the
it would,
Hindenburg. It would have been like the movie
yes,
Carrie, basically.
it
Yeah.
would have been. And of course, back then, everybody having a heater up there that you could see the smoke going up. It's
I mean, if one person drops that cigarette down in the
yeah,
wrong
that's right.
spot,
We all die. Yeah, it
that
was.
shows how actually shows how careful and responsible those smokers were back in the day.
That's right. Yes, when they put them down on the floor to put them out, they made sure with their foot that they were out. Right? Damn it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did
Not in
did
today's
you
America.
had a smoker, Dad? Right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Dad was a
my
smoker.
dad went 3 rounds with lung cancer over a 20-year
Yes.
period.
Yeah, my mother was a pounded them too, and but they would all. The men would always put them out on the sidewalk and munch them, but the women were more dainty. They'd put them out in the ashtray very hard, but they tried to get them out. They were responsible back then. Of course, no filters.
Yeah.
That
That
was
was the
yeah. Yeah.
my dad with the no filtered camels for
Yeah.
decades and
Oh God,
decades,
yeah.
man.
Cowboy killers.
My mom smoked camels too. Say did. Yeah, it is unbelievable. If you ever saw any of those old ads in the early '50s, Chesterfields, the smooth. You took them for health to help your lungs.
Yep.
That's what
Yes.
the ads. It was, yeah,
Help your lungs chill
yeah.
out after a long day at the office. Yeah.
Never had one in my life though.
Yeah, me
Just
too. Yeah.
I guess I tried once and it what, anyway.
If it didn't kill you and make you smell terrible, I'd do it every day of every
Yeah,
hour.
yes,
But those are two big reasons as to why not to do it.
yes.
Yeah.
But I think they still do a fairly good job of hooking young Americans, so that's good. We need that for the economy. All right,
So go
Jets.
Gophers.
Well,
Go Gophers.
Go
oh, come
Gophers.
on, hang in there. Oh man, alive. I feel sorry for Nico. Oof.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
a
he'll
not a
get.
good way to
I
start.
think he's got a chance. He just needs a
Oh,
few
I do.
years. Needs a few
I
years.
do too. And they're going to give him a little money to go get guys. He just had no time to get them here. So anyway.
Yep. All right,
All right,
Pat. We'll
Jets.
catch up again
Cheers.
on Friday. Royce
Okay. Goodbye.
Unchained, Unfiltered. See you guys.